evening. President Bongbong Marcos says the 2025 national budget may be signed before the end of the year. Marcos was scheduled to sign the 2025 budget bill on Friday, December 20. However, Malacanang announced that the signing of the budget bill was deferred to make way for further review. According to Marcos, he cannot give information on the ongoing review, but stresses that they are going through the budget bill item by item to see what is priority and what is not.
We were originally scheduled to sign into law the GAA tomorrow, 20th. Pero mukhang hindi kami matatapos pa at that time. So I cannot give you a date because it will take as long as it will take. But I want to be very, very sure that the budget for 2025 is directed at the important projects that we have prioritized.
Marcos says the ratified 2025 national budget bill can no longer be returned to Congress following calls from Senators Juan Miguel Zubiri and Amy Marcos to bring it back to the Bicameral Conference Committee for revisions.
There is no procedure to return it to the Bicameral. It's finished already in the House. It's finished already it's finished in Congress. Tapos na. So it's up to us now to look at the items and to see what are appropriate, what are relevant, and what are the priorities.
The Presidential Communications Office says Marcos met with top government officials on Wednesday afternoon, December 18, to review the 2025 national budget. Marcos met with Executive Secretary Lucas Bersmin, Finance Secretary Ralph Recto, Budget Secretary Amena Pangandaman, Public Works and Highway Secretary Manuel Bonoan, and National Economic and Development Authority Secretary Arsenio Balisacan in Malacanang. President Bongbong Marcos assures the public that the benefits provided by the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation would not be reduced even by half a cent, as more services will be included in the PhilHealth package starting 2025. In an interview on Thursday, December 19, the President clarifies that services of PhilHealth will not be reduced with or without subsidy from the government.
Let me be very clear. I really wish sana naman yung mga nagko-comment tungkol sa PhilHealth subsidy, pag-aralan ninyo ng mas malalim-lalim at tignan naman ninyo. At ito ang guarantee ko. Napakasimple lang ang guarantee ko. Kahit may subsidy, kahit walang subsidy, kahit anong contribution, all of these issues, hindi mababawasan ang serbisyo ng PhilHealth.
Marcos even assures the people that not even half a cent of PhilHealth's budget for services to its customers would be slashed.
I would like to just assure everybody, huwag niyong inaalala na mababawasan ang serbisyo kahit na kanino. Para sa senior, para sa mga hirap, para sa middle class, walang mababawasan kahit isang pusing. Quite the opposite. Dadagdagan natin yan in 2025.
Meanwhile, House Speaker Martin Romualdez previously said that the legislative chamber would probe PhilHealth in 2025 to check if funds are being managed properly. PhilHealth was initially allocated a 74.431 billion peso subsidy, but was reduced by the Senate to 64.419 billion pesos. The Bicameral Conference Committee then decided to cut the allocation completely. The Department of Justice says it will thoroughly study the House of Representatives Quad Committee's recommendation to file crimes against humanity complaints against former President Rodrigo Duterte and his allies, even assuring that complaints would be filed should sufficient evidence warrant it. In an interview on Thursday, December 19, Justice Undersecretary Jesse Andres says the DOJ National Prosecution Services will thoroughly study the evidence to be elevated by the Quad Committee. Andres adds that the DOJ National Prosecution Services will also consolidate the evidence that the Quad Committee has collated from its own investigation to determine whether crimes against humanity were really committed.
If the evidence warrants, we will proceed with the filing of cases through the National Prosecution Service. But we assure everyone, kami po ay nakakasiguro na hindi po kami magpa-file ng any harassment case. But when the evidence warrant, pag meron po tayong sapat na ebidensya, we will hold people accountable.
Andres' statement came after President Bongbong Marcos earlier said that the DOJ will have to review the Quad Committee's recommendation to file crimes against humanity complaints against Duterte and his allies for their alleged role in the extrajudicial killings in the war on drugs. According to Andres, all resource persons who testify before the Quad Committee's hearing may also be summoned by the National Bureau of Investigation to receive their formal affidavits. When asked if even former President Duterte himself will receive a subpoena, Andres says that it is possible.
We will look into that possibility, but as of now, there are already admissions on record made by the former president, and that is evidence that is admissible because these are all under oath and in a public proceeding.
The DOJ official also says that the department is currently studying if the case buildup would overlap with the probe being conducted by the International Criminal Court against Duterte's infamous drug war. During the House session on Wednesday, December 18, House Quad Committee Lead Presiding Officer in Surigao del Norte's 2nd District Representative Robert Ace Barber said the four panels are recommending charges against Duterte and his key allies for Republic Act No. 9851 or the Philippine Act on Crimes Against International Humanitarian Law, Genocide, and Other Crimes Against Humanity. The other individuals included in the recommendation are Senators Bongo and Bajo de Rosa, former Philippine National Police Chiefs Oscar Albayalde and Debold Sinas, former Police Colonel Roina Garma, former National Police Commission Commissioner Edilberto Leonardo, and Ghost Aide Ermina Muking Espino. Senators Bato de la Rosa and Bongo are leaving it up to the Philippine courts to decide if ever cases are filed against them over drug war deaths. The House of Representatives Quad Committee on Wednesday, December 18, recommended the filing of charges against the two senators, along with former President Rodrigo Duterte and others, over drug war deaths during Duterte's administration. In a radio interview on the same day, Dela Rosa, who served as the chief implementer of Duterte's bloody drug war, said that the recent developments prove that the lower chamber wants to demolish the Dutertes and their allies. De La Rosa pointed out that the lower chamber wants to implicate him and Senator Go, especially that the upcoming election draws near. According to De La Rosa, if he and Go will not win their re-election bid next year, the Congress knows that there will be no obstruction in the Senate regarding the impeachment of Vice President Sara Duterte. When asked if he will face charges should it push through, the former top cop answered in the affirmative, saying that he has faith in the country's judicial system. Meanwhile, Go in a separate statement said that it is vital to let the Filipinos decide if there was peace and order during the previous administration. But like De La Rosa, Go said he is also leaving it to Philippine courts to decide should cases be filed. However, Go couldn't help but question the intent of the lower chamber's Quad Committee, noting that it was them who first emphasized the need not to implicate those who are not involved. The Philippine Coast Guard says they monitored 12 Chinese vessels in and outside Bajo de Masinloc in the West Philippine Sea during its routine maritime patrol on Thursday morning, December 19. In a statement on the same day, PCG spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Commodore J. Tariela, says PCG and the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources successfully conducted a routine maritime patrol in the West Philippine Sea. According to Tariela, during the operation, Philippine vessels BRP Teresa Magbanwa and BRP Cabra distributed food packs and groceries to approximately 40 Filipino fishermen in the area. Tariela says that the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources patrol aircraft identified 2 China Coast Guard vessels positioned outside Bajo de Masinloc, along with 7 Chinese maritime militia vessels in the surrounding waters. Tariela also reports that 2 Chinese maritime militia vessels were observed stationed inside the shoal. Furthermore, Tariela says a People's Liberation Army Navy vessel with bow number 552 was reported approximately 50 nautical miles off the coast of Zambales. The PCG did not provide further information on whether the Chinese vessels harassed the Filipino fishermen, but they have committed to upholding the rights of the fisherfolk in the West Philippine Sea. On December 4, Tariela revealed that 5 Chinese vessels reportedly harassed Philippine vessels conducting a routine maritime patrol within Bajo de Masinloc. On the same day, the PCG official bared 4 Philippine vessels deployed near Escoda Shoal also encountered aggressive actions from several Chinese vessels. Beijing's continued aggression was based on its assertion of sovereignty over almost the entire South China Sea, including most of the West Philippine Sea, as it continues to reject a July 2016 arbitral award that effectively dismissed its claims and ruled in favor of Manila. The landmark ruling stemmed from a case filed by Manila in 2013, a year after its tense standoff with Beijing over Panatag Shoal, whose lagoon the latter now effectively controls. And these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, X, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good evening.